I caught up to volume 15 of Yotsuba and it continues to be the little light-hearted slice of life. I feel like there is some more serious discussion in this. Her father does become, I feel, more responsible in the later volumes, and I love how patient he is not only with Yotsuba, but with Enna, her two sisters, and Miura. And they range in age. Yotsuba's 5, Enna and Miura, I believe, are about maybe 10 to 12. Then their next oldest sister is about 15 or 16, and then the sister above that is about 19 to 20. So it's kind of like a good range of ages. You get to see him interacting with not only the kids, older kids, teens, young adults, and then adults his own age. And I feel like everybody who comes into contact with Yotsuba falls in love with her. There's a few chapters where his mother comes to visit, Yotsuba's grandmother, and that's very, very cute. And then at the very end of volume 15, that's very cute and a very deep exploration into parenthood. And I definitely I love this series. It is very slice of life. There's not much plot, but I can recommend it to just about anybody because it's cute and wholesome, and who doesn't need that right now? I finished the 3-volume manga called QQ Sweeper. This is going to be followed by Queen's Quality, which hopefully I will get to start soon. QQ Sweeper is one that at first I didn't think I was going to pick up. It's about this guy who likes to clean, and really not all that interesting, I thought. But then you read a little more. He cleans out people's minds from their negative emotions. And this leads to some fantasy things with our main female character, Fumi. And I was actually really pleasantly surprised by this series. I will say it does touch on, depression, bullying. There are some actual good cleaning tips, like deep cleaning tips. How to fold a dusting cloth to get the maximum use out of it. How to clean different things is very lightly touched on. And it does have a good bit of humor. I do like the art. And the bullying, I felt, was portrayed spot on, because Fumi makes the comment, she says it doesn't matter how I react. If I ignore them and don't care, then I'm stuck up. If I start crying, then I'm just pretending to be a weak little girl. I just want attention. So the only thing I can do is think, what would I look up to in somebody? If I saw this happen to somebody, what would make me look up to them? And I do that. That way, no matter what happens, I know I made the best choice for me. And that just really resonated with me. And yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by this, and I do recommend it, even if you're not entirely sure. Like I said, it's short enough, and I feel like it's really engaging, and the art is really nice, and the owl that takes part in the series is very, very cute. And like I said, I'm going to go on to Queen's Quality soon, and hopefully I enjoy that as much. I read the first 10 volumes, which is so far all that's out in America, of Witch Hat Atelier, and I really liked this. It is a fantasy series, obviously, about a girl who becomes a witch, and I really like the art and kind of the pacing, the characters. And I have seen quite a few reviews that people are like, oh, it's not really anything new. And yeah, I can agree with that. It is kind of, learning magic, which has been done many, many times, but the character work I really like. And the character designs, like the art is phenomenal, as you can tell by the cover. And I feel like it delves into a lot of questions that not all series do, and I feel like it does them very well. Like in this particular world, you have the pointed caps and you have the brimmed caps, two different types of witches. There are spells that are forbidden to use, and they're all spells that can be used to manipulate humans. But this includes healing spells. So, it is kind of set up and it is questioned. Should you really ban healing magic? I mean, if somebody has a broken leg and you can mend it with magic, why not? There's also a lot of secrecy because you find out very quickly that magic is not as hard as everyone thought it is, basically. And this truth has been kept from a lot of people, but this was kept because there was war in the old days, and there was a pact made that only certain people, certain families would know. And you also see the way that witches react to different disabilities, such as colorblindness and blindness or low vision. And you also see, bodily disabilities where people need to use wheelchairs. And I find it very interesting that witches think that visual acuity is the most important. So if there is any little thing wrong with your vision, you're looked down on. And one character has to deal with this, and another character is hiding the fact that his vision is failing. And this drives a lot of the plot. And the brimmed cap witches kind of close in on this, and they use this as, magic could fix this. But I also like the way that the one character, his vision issues are not fixed by magic, but there is a solution found in order for him to do what he needs to do. They just find a way that, okay, you can do this, even though you can't do this part. So they take what he can do and use that so that he can figure out what medicine is which. And I found that very well done. And yeah, I really liked this series, so I'm definitely excited to read more, and I'm definitely excited to see what exactly happens with this whole plot between the brimmed cap witches and the pointed hat witches, and to just continue to kind of explore the shades of gray that this series brings up. I also read the first 3 volumes of the manga Flying Witch. I believe they're up to volume 11 now, but the library only had the first 3. This was kind of just a cute little slice of life with some magic thrown in. It reminds me a lot of Kiki's Delivery Service, to be quite honest, as well, especially, the witch isn't that good at flying, which definitely reminded me of Kiki. It's also in a more rural setting, and it's kind of very slow-paced, just slice of life. I do like, after the first volume, we get more into the magic side of it, and the different things, like potions, different types of potions, different types of spells, and whatnot. So it was cute. If you are a fan of slice of life, if you're a fan of Kiki's Delivery Service, or really any Studio Ghibli, I think you would enjoy this. There is some more juvenile humor, like they go out to pick some wild onions, I believe it is, and the comments made that it made your farts stink. So that's kind of the sum of the humor that's in there. It's not frequent, but it is frequent enough that if juvenile humor bothers you, just be warned that that is in there. I finished the Maid-sama series over these last couple of months. It's 18 volumes, and I will say you can tell it is a little older. It is from like the early 2000s, and some of the stuff is a little, I don't know how to explain it. It's a little not my type of humor. A lot of the humor is Misaki being not your typical girl, and she's more kind of like strong and independent, and this leads to a lot of misunderstandings. And then you have Usui, the love interest, and he's a little bit, at the beginning at least, he always reminds her she's a girl, and that one did get old pretty quick. However, it also went away pretty quick. And this was one that, again, for me, I felt like the humor didn't land. It's around the same time as Ouran Host Club came out. However, I find Ouran much funnier. I do feel like if you haven't read a lot of Soho mangas, this might be a good one to start on. It has a lot of the Soho tropes, and it does have decent writing and a decent plot. And I feel like if it's a newer one to you, you might not see the tropes as much, or it might not kind of stand out to you that they're underdeveloped. So like I said, while I did enjoy it, it did have its issues, and it's probably not one that I personally will reread. I do know there's a lot of people, it was their first manga and they really enjoyed it, and they continue to enjoy it just because of that. And I can agree with that. There are mangas that I read first starting out that if I had read them at this point with all the mangas I have read, I may not have enjoyed them as much. So yeah, if it sounds like it might be interesting to you, it's kind of like it has a maid cafe in it, obviously being called Maid-sama, and that kind of kicks everything off for the story. So if it sounds interesting, I would say go ahead and try to pick it up.